Good people, good people. We are out of our previous alignments. We're going to get that back right real quick here. There we go. All right. So it's another week of the NFC Beast. And as I say every week, this is the best division in all of football. I don't care about records. You know why this is the best division in all of football? Name me another division that has all four teams that have won a Super Bowl. Oh, you can't. And you know why? Because you're not good enough as a division. So, until you can put yourself in that conversation, miss me with the NFC East is not the best division. We are the beast for a reason. The beast of the East. So, with that being said, welcome Ben for his first appearance this season. What's going on, Ben?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite every week, and happy to be here chopping it up, talking some football.
Right here.
Name tells you all you need to know because that is what the New York Giants are. And this is how they leave their fans feeling like gutter trash.
I can't tell the fan of another team how to feel. Okay. I'll say that. And that's all I'm going to say about the whole gutter trash thing. This man wants to be referred to as gutter trash for the show. We will refer to him as gutter trash. That's what he wants. That's what he puts. That means that's what he wants to be referred as. For some reason, he wants to be referred to as gutter trash this week. I ask no questions and keep it moving. Ladies and gentlemen, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I will say I had a very wonderful week. We will touch on both of those games. But I think the division as a whole got a little work to do. But that's okay because there are opportunities to be a little bit better. But speaking of opportunities wasted, gutter trash. Your boys lost to the Carolina Panthers.
A team you have no use for. A team you have more than one occasion called the worst team in the NFL. And we lost to them!
I can't even call them the worst team in the NFL no more. But here's the crazy part about it. Overtime, overseas. So first of all, NFL schedule makers, you deserve a good thrashing. You literally put the Giants and the Panthers in a game overseas. You deserve a thrashing for putting that together.
Yep. You ain't lying.
But, I mean, I honestly told myself, I'm not getting up at 9 a.m. to watch the Giants and the Panthers play. There was no part of me that was interested in getting up and watch the Giants and the Panthers play. And that's not a disrespect to either team, but these are two teams that are not good. And for me, when you're not good, I'm not getting up and watching. If you gave me like the Ravens and the Panthers, the Ravens and the Giants, I'm like, oh, they're going to drag them. I'm going to watch that probably. But the matchup you gave wasn't a strong one. I will say this, though. I did predict that this would be a good game from the standpoint of defense, and they would be close because I feel like these two teams are on the same level of talent-wise at the moment. And call me Nostradamus, 17-20, overtime, Panthers over the Giants. That's not really the else I want to say about this game. Scrub, this is your game. Would you like to go next, or would you like to go last?
I'll go right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. After I thought the Washington game was going to be the last time we saw Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones actually had a decent game. So unfortunately, we got another week of this guy, and it wasn't just bad enough for him to stink it up in states. He had to take his act overseas, all the way to Germany.
It doesn't change, sir. Same act everywhere he goes.
The same guy. Red zone turnovers. He had 2 of them. Second one was even worse than the first one. The first one you could chalk up to some bad luck. The second one, why are you going to your running back who is covered? You missed the throw. and you had your best receiver one-on-one. You had a flea flicker on 3rd and 1. We could talk about the play call, this and that. The play would have worked if you pulled the damn trigger. That's all you had to do. You had 2 guys wide open. Pick a guy, throw it. You would have had a first down. You'd probably get points. You give yourself a better chance to win. I know that much. Graham Cano comes back. He misses a kick, which wasn't good. And then your rookie running back was having a good season, had the worst moment of his young career at the worst time. Oh, and the run defense is still an atrocity. I don't understand what the heck's going on. Bobby Okereke looks like I'm convinced this guy's an imposter because the guy I saw last season, this guy this season, or if they didn't wear the same jersey, I would be convinced they're different guys.
It's a bad clone this year.
Bad clone. The secondary is a young secondary, and they give up a lot of big plays at inopportune times. Yeah, and the Panthers, they're not much better, but as we saw late in the 4th quarter, for anyone who watched this game, it got ugly. They kind of let the Giants back into it. If they were the time playing at the level they were, you're talking about at least one of these teams to be 500 would have been a runaway one way or the other. But both teams came in with 2 wins, and one team walked away with 3, and the other one's still stuck at 2. And now the Giants are on the bye. Now there's talks about the quarterback getting benched. It should have probably been benched a while ago, but you got caught.
The Giants, I would keep him. I'd let him start every game this year because he sucks. He's going to make sure you get a good pick. I would let him start every game this year.
At this point, I agree.
Yeah,
as much as I don't like it, if the goal is to get the number 1 pick, keep him in because he hasn't done anything to help you win games.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's kind of why I think that ultimately Trey Lance will be starting for Dallas within a week or 2.
It does give you a good chance to lose.
That's what I'm saying.
Trey Lance is terrible.
I mean,
I don't understand how he got picked as high as he did. It's terrible.
And I also
he didn't have enough experience.
Yeah, no, it was a big risk by the Niners, and they're laughing their butts off that we traded a 4th round pick for someone who hasn't even taken 1 snap.
But
in a year and a half hasn't been on the field once. Hasn't been on the field.
He did take 2 snaps in the Eagles game.
Yeah, it did not look good over there.
Who? Trey Lance did?
Yeah.
He had
I'm talking about a regular season game.
Yes.
Yeah,
he took snaps.
Last weekend? Oh, the game I switched off at like 21-6.
Yeah, probably after you switched it off.
After he did
exactly who you thought he was, though.
That's why I literally didn't know that he took any snaps because that was dumb.
He's exactly who you thought he was. He thought so.
Then let him start after we get our asses spanked by Houston on Monday night. Let Trey Lance start.
Yeah, but this is
any thoughts of the Giants game, Ben?
I think it's 2 kind of blah teams that are much closer to the number 1 pick than being even a 7 seed competing for the playoffs. So for it to be the first game on a Sunday, regardless of what time, for it to be the first game of the day, and the first game the NFL, I believe, has ever had in Germany.
I don't think
those are the 2 okay, we'll just say the first in 20 years, let's say, whatever it is.
Right.
Those are the 2 teams you send for that game. Nobody thought in August Carolina or the Giants would be playoff contenders. Nobody.
I honestly was surprised Carolina went into the game with 2 wins, to be honest.
That's what I mean. That's
they had 2 wins.
the only thing that I could say, and it's hard. These athletes all making millions and millions of dollars. I can never feel super, super bad for them because they just smile at their bank accounts. But at the end of the day, they are human beings, just like us. They're just more talented, but arguably. But anyways, I'm sort of happy for Bryce Young, sort of, because he has been put in a horrible. He has been put in a horrible situation, and he's not lighting it up. He's not MVP. He's not putting up these crazy stats, but he's winning. So it makes me feel a little bit good for him. That's about all. That's about all I got from that game. And Tyrone, but I will say this: a little bit of love for the running backs. Hubbard went nuts, and Tyrone Tracy. At least you guys got a running back. Y'all don't have a quarterback, but you got a running back. He made a horrible, fumble in overtime, cost you the game. But he's talented. He's good.
We wouldn't have been in the game prior to that if he didn't. Yeah.
So two good running backs in that game, and bad turnover at the end. And Carolina, I don't even understand why you run a first and a second down play. You're risking a fumble. They should have ran out the field goal team on first down. If it's a bad snap, you hop on it and you kick it on second down.
Yeah, but we've seen a lot of these kickers miss kicks that you think they shouldn't miss.
Some, yeah.
Talk about that. The second Eagles game. Definitely talk about that. All right, so we'll move on. Steelers, Commanders. The Steelers pull out in what I would say an improbable upset, 28-27, to beat the Washington Commanders. The game before this, Jaden Daniels hurt his ribs. You could still see some residual pain from that, some residual effects on the way he was playing from that. Still had a good game, solid game. The biggest thing for me in this particular game was the Steelers just hung around and said, you got to beat us, right? The Commanders had some questionable plays go against them. We had some questionable plays go against us. I think a lot of the home teams have a couple of questionable plays go against them. I think this Commanders game, there was a couple that you could look at and say, if those had been called what people felt like were right, at least Commanders fans felt like was right, the Commanders may have won this game. But you can't catch the ball and then go backwards. You can't.
Oh, that Ertz play. Yeah. No, that was dumb. That was really dumb by him.
Yeah, really it was kind of. I don't know why you just don't receive the ball where you're at. I don't know why you step back to the ball, but he did. I mean, I guess in the moment he's trying to make you make the catch.
Yeah, somebody said, and it's true, if it was in the end zone, it would have been a touchdown, but it wasn't. So you were past the line, then you came back. So it wasn't. It wasn't a first down. It just wasn't.
Right. But I think it was one of the better games of the week. Definitely back and forth. Good defensive battle for most of the game, but some explosive plays on offense. Russell Wilson had another good game as the Steelers quarterback. He was able to pull it out. There's not much else that can be said. Any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I would say that Washington had their opportunities for sure. You go up 24-14 at home, whether it's rookie quarterback, young team, whatever it is, you got a 10-point lead at home in the second half. That's a game you should win. They got to 24-14, and after that, they only kicked a field goal. So they went, 3 points in the last quarter and a half. That's not going to get it done. Steelers have been, playing well, of course. Russell Wilson has been pretty good for sure. I mean, their offense has been pretty darn good since he went in. Not that it's all him, but clearly they're throwing the ball deep much more often than when they were with Fields. So you let a quarterback like that hang around and, Pickens and let them kind of hang around. Eventually they're going to make the plays to win the game. And that's what happened. I would have liked to have seen now on that last play, the fourth down where they drew him off sides. I honestly think the Steelers would have gone for it. They would, in my opinion, we'll never know, but I think they were going to go for it. They would have waited till 1 second and called the timeout and ran the ball. Just my opinion, given how great their running game has been. That's a play that I wish that we saw as fans. Or if they did punt it away, what did Jaden Daniels do in the last minute? So it would have been cool just as a fan of football to see either the 4th down play or can Jaden Daniels go down and make a game-winning drive. But very entertaining game. Steelers are a really good team, better than probably people thought. I'm not going to say Super Bowl contending team, but, I mean, they are better than I think what most people expected at this point. And that's a big road win for them. You know, whether with the rookie quarterback or not, we hear it all the time. It's tough to win road games in the NFL, especially tough to win road games when you're down by 10 points. They pulled it off. All credit to them. See what the Steelers can do against the Ravens this week.
All right, Scrub, any thoughts?
Yeah, Washington can't stop the run. You couldn't stop the run again. This is proving to become a recurring issue. We'll talk about it once we get to the next game. But they got to find a way to stop the run. Like you said, cool. Jane Daniels still feeling some effects from the rib injury. He's not making the plays he was making earlier on. But you can't. It's another professional team. I understand that. You got to find a way to come away with these wins. This is like an opponent like the Steelers. They're a veteran team. You let them hang around, they'll find a way. Russell Wilson, he doesn't need to have a great statistical game. He's going to make 1 or 2 or 3 plays that's going to change the course of the game. And he did that. And how fitting that the game-winning touchdown goes to Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who the Jets and particularly Aaron Rodgers threw under the bus and cast off.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say I saved that for Scrub because I had that in what I was going to say, but I said I'm going to let that go and I'm going to allow that to be saved. I'm going to throw that as a volley up and see who slam dunks it.
I appreciate that. There's another reason to laugh at the Jets. Because, you know, we got another year of sorry football in New York.
Oh, so I really dislike Aaron Rodgers just as a human being. I really don't like him. And so them struggling is hilarious to me. And him specifically struggling too.
It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. There's one dude I consistently root against. I really don't like him.
As for the Steelers, I did pick them to finish second in this division. So seeing them, I'm a little surprised with the record, but seeing them having this overall success doesn't surprise me because they were doing good with Justin Fields. Now they got Russ back. They're still finding a way to win games. Listen, Washington, it's a young team, and we'll see how much they can figure out, how much they can't figure out. But a lot of the problems I thought they'd finish last in the division, starting to show themselves against the better opponents. With the weak secondary and that weak offensive line. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this game.
All right, Ben.
Yes, sir.
For the next game, do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
We're talking about the debacle in Dallas. The Eagles. Well, I joked, and it's a joke, but I believe for the first half, I could have been an Eagles corner and done respectably well, considering every pass was a screen pass or a slant pass. Every single pass, like not even an exaggeration, everything was a 3-yard pass or less. Like, I don't care if it's your backup quarterback. Like, all the more reason to just freaking throw it deep and see what happens. Like, who cares? Like, you're going to lose the game anyways. Like, what's the point? Just have them go routes the entire game and throw it deep and hope you get a PI or a deep shot or something. But the fact that they literally were like, Cooper Rush, here's what we're going to do. You're going to throw every pass 3 yards forwards or behind you. And that's going to be every pass that you throw. Like, the Philly defense is sitting there like, all right, so this is all you're going to do every single play? Literally. Like, I could have not, obviously not, but like as a corner or a defensive lineman or anyone on the Eagles defense, okay, this is what you're doing. Oh, you did it. You did it on the last play, so you're doing it again. Oh, this is what you're doing. Okay, you're doing it again. Like, how they expected to have any success is beyond me, unless their goal secretly was to lose. And if your goal was to lose, maybe that play calling was great. But the fact that it was even a game for a quarter when it was like 7-6 or something, or the fact that it was even close for like a quarter was a small miracle in itself, considering what our offense was doing. And it was actually a game for like a quarter. And then the Eagles woke up and were like, yeah, let's just stomp on their throats because that's what we should have been doing this whole time. And that's what they did. Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. Dallas is a contender for a top 5 pick. How anybody expected that game to go any differently, I don't know. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would have definitely bet on the Eagles to cover whatever the ridiculous spread was. And yeah, they were dominated. Did what they give them credit. They did what they should have done, and they did. So beat the crap out of them, and the Texans are about to one up y'all and do the same exact thing on Monday night.
Gutter trash. What do you have for us?
Well, this is another team that features some gutter trash with the quarterback play. My thing is, why not, like you said, why not just open up the offense? Because
let them throw 6 interceptions. Who cares? Who cares? Just throw it deep.
But you made it was so easy to defend the Cowboys. You didn't. There wasn't a lot of complication what the Eagles had to do.
Mm-mm. Screen pass, slant. Screen pass, slant. Screen pass, slant.
And 5 what am I supposed to do with 5 turnovers? 4 lost fumbles. This wasn't a pretty game. But you know what? One team said, "All right, we could win an ugly game. We got no problem slugging it out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take the points out of there, make the plays when we need to, walk away with the win." The other team, well, Jerry Jones and the circus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what the ultimate goal is. Supposedly it's to win games according to Jerry. Well, you ain't winning this game. I don't see how you're going to win games going forward with this formula.
This is paper, aka money. That is his only goal, to make the most amount of money and get the most amount of attention. That is his only goal. That's it.
So nothing's changed.
No,
all this time,
his goal is to get the most amount of money, the most amount of ratings, the most amount of coverage. That's it. He can say what he wants, and 95% of Cowboys fans can be manipulated by him. But if you're actually have a brain that works functionally well, you understand his main goal is to make money.
He does a good job with the hype machine,
and he does make money. Somehow they haven't won for 30 years, roughly almost 30 years. And if he sold the team, they'd go for the most amount of money in any sport in history. So his goal of making money,
great marketer.
He's good at that.
This team's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All I'll say on the Cowboys game is, I know there's been a lot of people gloating and Eagles fans talking all the smack, and I mean we really expected to beat Dallas. Dallas is not looking really good. They lost Dak. You know, they don't really have that second wide receiver. They brought in Jonathan Mingo. But, I mean, if you're honest, your first week there with Cooper Rush as your quarterback, you're not going to be much of a, you know, a factor. So you don't know if he'll be anything. Maybe he'll be a bright spot as a number 2, you know, getting an opportunity. You have nothing but opportunities for him, right? Because a bunch of other guys haven't really done much for you. On the Eagles side, you played defense, you held them to 6 points, 2 field goals. That's what we should have done. You notice in that first quarter, that's when we had the turnovers, right? Early in the game, turn the ball over, fumble, you know, those things. And once those things changed, we were a much better team. It just feels like at the end of the day, Philadelphia came in, they did what they were supposed to do. It took them a while to wake up, but they actually did finally get a touchdown in the first quarter. So that was a big thing for, I think, the team's morale, just because they hadn't done it. But I like that we took the guys out early the fourth, because we have another game on Thursday, and you have to kind of prepare. That game was coached really well, actually. A couple of bad plays. I'll say the same thing about the Commanders game. But for the most part, it was coached really well. You know, I think Kellen Moore was allowed to coach the game because it was against Dallas and that's his former team. And I think we saw, if you allow him to actually coach the offense, he'll be pretty good. That's about all I have to say, man. Ben, what did you have to say about the Bingo trade?
Yeah, so everybody wants to compare the compensation to Davante Adams trade, Amari Cooper, you know, Mike Williams, all these wide receiver trades, and the easiest thing to say is Dallas overpaid because they gave a 4th-round pick for someone who so far has been pretty much god-awful as a pro. I agree overall there was probably an overpay, and it'll probably end up being that. But the reason to do it is he's on his rookie contract for another 2 years, and I believe he's only 24 years old. So it's a low-risk move, even though you gave up a 4th-round pick for it. It has to do with age and contract compared to the compensation of the other players. Obviously, he's a worse player than Davante Adams, Amari Cooper, all that, but he's younger, he costs less. So I can't necessarily disagree with the trade because, like you said, CeeDee Lamb and who else? So you might as well find out if Mingo is any good. Maybe he isn't. Maybe what we've seen so far as a pro is he was very good in college and he's just really bad in the NFL. Maybe that ends up being the case. But for a 24-year-old, got him for 2 more years on his rookie deal, I'm okay with the move. Fine with it.
I don't like the yeah, so that don't say. But even with the Panthers, like he couldn't make headway over there. I mean, you got what, 2 rookies? You got 2 rookie wide receivers and a rookie tight end. That's contributing more. I mean, that's not saying much, but still, if you but if they're getting more opportunities than you, then what does that say about how you're doing or how you're not doing?
Well, you got to look at a team. So you got to look at who do they like, right? Yeah. Like for instance, Xavier Legette. Once they brought this man in, he was going to be the guy for the team. Down home country boy, got the accent, everything. Perfect guy. Take your mind off the fact that Bryce Young is playing terrible and Andy Dalton's washed. Perfect guy to take your mind off that, right?
Right.
So you got to look at some of those things too. I think a lot of guys, a change of scenery and an opportunity to be looked at as, I don't need you to come out here and be the guy. You just be our number 2 or our number 3, and we're good with that. It takes a lot of pressure off of a young wide receiver too.
Yeah, there's a lot of up here that matters in sports too. A lot.
No, I know that.
There's a lot.
But the Cowboys need a number 1. Because CD ain't no number 1. You can think he is. I never thought he's number 1.
The Cowboys, he's a number 1. As long as they think he's a number 1, they're not looking for a number
1. I mean, are you sitting here saying he's not one of the best 10 receivers in the league?
I will say exactly that.
You
I
can
would say
name,
exactly
you'd take 10 guys over him.
I would take 10 guys over him, yes.
Cool. Same.
Listen, I know you need receiver help, but considering where the Cowboys are and the amount of holes,
I would probably put him in the top 10. I would probably put him in the top 10.
At least one.
Production matters.
He can produce, yeah, but he's produced. Like, I'm not saying he ain't got the talent. I'm not saying he's not. He's not.
I mean, he led the league in catches last year.
He does, but he doesn't. But there's a lot of times he fades because he's either dropping the ball or fumbling it, or his route running's shoddy, and then he doesn't make plays when you need him the most.
And a lot of that has to do with our crappy offensive play calling. a lot. And even with that crappy offensive play calling, led the league in catches last year. And I'm not here saying he's the best in the NFL. That's not the argument. I'm saying if
I would probably put him somewhere.
You lead the league in catches.
Definitely would put him in the top 15.
I mean, you got to be that by definition. To me, that's a 1. But I know we don't want to talk about this forever. But I think he's a number 1. Yes.
But even with that, I don't think. I think you need some other holes. You have other holes that need filling, and I don't think.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Using a fourth. I understand the control, but I don't think trading a 4th round pick at this time for a receiver who you hope is a number 2, but probably isn't, was the play to go for. Me personally.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. We got what? 7 more weeks? So we'll see.
Right.
Maybe they'll tell Brandon Cooks to just retire instead of coming off IR. Just, hey, buddy, stay over here. We got to figure out what we have in Mingo. So we got a spot for you over here. Just keep sitting on the bench over here.
Brandon Cooks is like, if you're gonna pay me, I'll sit on the bench.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're not gonna pay me.
Rather than risk my life for a shit ass team.
True that.
That's a strong statement. I hadn't said it. So we have our mid-season awards we're gonna do, but before we do that, I just want to go ahead and talk about the gloriousness that happened on Thursday nights. So I just want to talk about it. I'm gonna go first. I just want to say that was a horrendous first half of football offensively. That was terrible. It was a lot of bad play calling, but missed field goals. Jake Elliott does not miss field goals. My man missed 2 field goals and an extra point in that game, right? And you look back to the Cowboys game, and we kept going for it. We kept making stupid plays on 4th down. Then I turn around 4 days later, Jake Elliott's missing kicks. Everybody's mad at Jake Elliott, but remember this. His coach didn't believe in him the week before. His coach said, I would rather go for it multiple times when I should let you go out there and give us a solid 3. And sometimes that can get in your head and mess you up a little bit on a short week. Jake Elliott's been one of the most consistent players on the Philadelphia Eagles since he was drafted. So calm down after one game. No, AJ Brown should have went over and Deebo Samuel him and punched him in the face because he missed him. No, because he doesn't do that often. So you look at him, and they probably were over there hugging him and rubbing his back and trying to make him feel better because this guy's consistent. But he didn't make him when we needed him in this game, so you have to acknowledge that. But y'all got to calm down. He's not washed. He's just had a bad game. We still went out and found a way to win. It was 8 points by the end of the game, but essentially, real talk speaking, it was more than that because we kind of just let them score at the end, like whatever y'all can score because we've already won. Second half comes, Jalen Hurts makes the plays that need to be made with his arms and his leg. But MVP of the game, clearly, was Saquon Barkley on the offensive side. Defense, a lot of guys played well, but Saquon Barkley did Saquon Barkley things. 200 total yards again. I believe as of now, because, of course, that monster in Baltimore hasn't played, he's leading the league in rushing. That's going to change once that monster in Baltimore plays. But second in the league in rushing, catches balls out of the backfield, is a threat anytime he's on the field. You always have to identify where that man is at. So, not the best game, but a really good second half. I'll take it. We won, and we watched the win. Sometimes you watch wins just like you do losses. We get 10 days to prepare for next week. That's all I can really say about that game. Scrub, your thoughts, sir?
That was some of the ugliest first half football I've seen in quite a while. I mean, we got some quite ugly at football, but I'm like, damn. I thought we'd get a little more effectiveness from both teams. Didn't happen. Washington ended up 3 of 12 on third down. And I thought the play that really flipped the fortunes was that fourth down play. I consider that fourth down in the fourth quarter. I'm like, you lost yards on second down after getting 9 yards on first down. You bad plays on second and third down. Kick the field goal. At least that's what I was thinking. Take the points, take the lead, and tell Philly, yo, you're gonna score again. Y'all gotta score again. Not you can run away with it. Yo, you gotta score again to take the lead. Because it's a whole different dynamic. Kicking a field goal and possibly being up by what it would have been 2 points at that point. No, 1 point because it was 12-10. So you would have been up 13-12. Instead, you choose to go for it, which I didn't like the decision of. The whole play, I don't know what the goal was for the play, but it was everything from the snap to the end of the play was just botched. And then Saquon ran away with it. He said, okay, let me get these 2 touchdowns real quick. Help me in fantasy, by the way. So thank you, Saquon. and the defense, Quinion Mitchell, that boy different, man. And I like how your defense played overall, but I took notice of him. I'm like, yo, they had to put Terry McLaurin on the other side.
The Commanders' young boy Salazar, I think his name was, or whatever. He played pretty good too.
Yeah, he did. He did a good job himself. I'm like, damn, you got these young corners balling out tonight.
But I will say Jalen Hurts was overthrowing some of those balls. So part of it was he didn't have his normal accuracy that first half. But it's okay.
Yeah, I thought one he overthrew Green, he should have back shouldered, but
he overthrew Smitty the wrong way.
Yeah,
he overthrew AJ Brown in the end zone. If he would have gave AJ Brown the ball where he normally does, where he could have high pointed it, because ironically he gave Smith the ball that he should have gave AJ Brown, and gave AJ Brown the ball he should have gave Smith.
It's crazy.
And that's why neither one of them made the catch.
Right.
And I did forget one thing. I have to shout out my man Greg Calcalatera, because if he doesn't get on that fumble, we don't win that game.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, how's every time? Like you first brought him up, I was like, yo, every time I see this guy, he always makes some kind of key play to help the Eagles win. I'm like, damn. Recover that fumble was so key. I'm like, nah. I know this guy. He just recovered this. Not again. Oh my god.
Thank you, Grant. From the bottom of my heart, no sarcasm.
But the one thing about Jalen Hurts, for as bad as moments he can have, those intangibles, man. He will make a play when you need him to make a play. Saquon will make a play when you need him to make a play. Calcaterra will make a play when you need to. You got a lot of guys that will come up big in big moments. So my only I wouldn't say my only concern, but I do still have one concern with the Eagles, and it's the same thing I've been saying for the last 2-3. The slow starts. You all won. And honestly, on the Washington side, I kind of think they're a bit of fool's gold. At least in the sense that they've beaten up on the bad teams. They haven't won any games against good teams. So
are we considered a good team now? Because last week we weren't.
Oh,
not by y'all. I'm just asking, not by y'all.
I mean, yeah. Listen, if y'all not considered a good team by now, then y'all ain't ever gonna be considered a good team. So, I mean, let's just call it what it is. What this is? 6 straight wins. 6 straight wins. and they still gonna hate. Look, you know what? I guess y'all the worst team 2-6 straight.
The worst 8-win team in the history.
The worst
of the NFL.
8-win team in the NFL.
What you got, Ben? I know you got something there, Ben. What you got for us?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to, honestly, as someone who never even played football in high school, played with friends and stuff, but never played in high school, college, never coached, nothing. I should not be able to be like, you're an idiot to an NFL coach or coordinator. Like, I should not be able to be like, what are you doing, and why do I know that play is stupid, and you've been doing this for 30 years and I've never done it? So why? Like, I really, stupid is probably one of my biggest pet peeves just in life in general. And we see stupid play calling every single game, specifically where you went, I think it's scrub, right? Or gutter trash, whatever you want to go by. I don't know. Scrub.
Whichever name works for you.
Gutter. I'm looking at gutter trash. I'm going to say gutter trash.
Yeah, sometimes I say scrub because I forget gutter trash is there. But
they're driving. At the time, it's 12-10 Eagles. They go down like 50 yards, basically all passing. Now, they were all screen passes pretty much to Eckler, but they'd gone down the field 50 yards, passing the ball. First play, like you said, first down, they got 9 yards. It's 2nd and 1. 2nd and 1, we just got 50 yards through the air. You know what? Let's run it. Well, we lost a yard. We got about 50 yards passing. We just lost a yard running it. Let's run it again. Lost another yard. And then to go for it on 4th down, I don't agree with, because you kick a field goal, you're up 13-12. Would you have won the game? Probably not, but you would have had a lead in the 4th quarter if he makes it, right? It's not guaranteed, but I still would have kicked the field goal. But if you are going to go for it, let's go back to stupid, how I started this. They got 3 tight ends on the field. 3. McLaurin, his ass is on the bench over there. You got 3 tight ends. You got like a number 3 or number 4 receiver and 3 tight ends. Eagles are really Eagles are really gonna let you make that play? Really? They would have never. You cannot. You just stupid. 3 plays back to back to back. Arguably cost them the game because they had gone 50 yards all through the air. I don't care if it was screen passes. You had gained 50 yards all through the air. And if you had kept on passing it, you may have scored a touchdown and the outcome may have been different. So I really, really didn't like their play calling in that specific moment. And I think
let me make a point about that. You continue. I want to know what the analytics are for going for it on 4th down after you lose yards on 2nd and 3rd down. Because everyone just be like, "Hey, go for a 4th down." Numbers you'll have. What are the numbers when you fail on 2nd and 3rd down in the manner you did, and then go for a 4th down?
That's why the eyes matter, not just analytics. That's why what you see, which is real, right? Let's say you're not on drugs or whatever the case.
Not a computer program.
What you see is real. Then you should react to what you see. And it was just they just should have never ran it on 3rd. Run on 2nd and 1. Okay, I can understand that. But once you lost a yard, you should have gone right back to Eckler on a screen pass on 3rd and 2. He might have broke it for a touchdown at that point. The way Eckler was playing last night, you made him look like a Hall of Fame running back, by the way. Not that I would be super concerned about that.
Really tackle him,
but Eckler, like, he was
trouble with him.
Yeah, for real, yeah. But like, I just really, credit to the Eagles. Once that play happened and they got the 4th down stop, I said to my buddy who's an Eagles fan, I'm like, that's it. It's over. Young team on the road. That's deflating. You've scored. At that point, I think they hadn't scored in the second half. I think they had 10 points at halftime, right? Yep. They had 10 points at halftime. You hadn't scored. You had a good chance in the 4th quarter to score, and you didn't score. I was like, they're done. Eagles touchdown. Game's over. And that's how it went down. So credit to the Eagles. Saquon went nuts. doing Saquon things. And, if the NFL wasn't stupid, a running back or a receiver could win MVP. And if that were the case, it'd be really interesting to see if it were the case, would Derrick Henry or Saquon get MVP? If it were to come down to, okay, let's just make up a rule for 2024, MVP is not going to be a quarterback. Who would it be between Saquon and Derrick Henry? I think that would be kind of interesting to see. But you know what we're going to see is who's going to win Offensive Player of the Year between those two.
Pretty much. Yep. All right.
But the Eagles, six in a row. I mean, 8-2. I mean, they still could get the number 1 seed in the NFC. It's only a half game back of the Lions.
So we'll do our mid-season awards here. So basically, we're going to pick one person from the division. So these are all division-based. If you ask, well, why are you doing this person versus this person? They have to be on a team from the Beast. All right. So go in this order. We'll go Ben, Gutter, me.
Ben Gutter me. Ben Gutter me.
All right.
Has a little ring to it. Ben Gutter me.
Yeah.
Ben Gutter me.
That was like right. So we'll start with Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ben, who is your Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Honestly, I may have done this incorrectly, but if we're talking only NFC East for all of these, so NFC East, it's a toss-up between the two Eagles corners, to be honest, but I gave my nod to Quinyon Mitchell.
All right, Gutter.
Quinyon Mitchell, easy.
We'll make it 3 for 3. I'll go Quinyon as well. All right, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ben.
Neighbors.
Gutter.
Jaden Daniels. Would have went Neighbors, but because of Daniel Jones' inability to get him the damn ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jaden Daniels as well. All right, I also included Comeback Player of the Year. I know it's a little bit more maybe of a reach, but Ben, who you got for your Comeback Player of the Year?
I mean, I honestly struggled a little bit with this one. Although it's not injury based at all, I'm going to cheat and say Saquon because they come from the crap organization.
Well, I mean, he was hurt last year, I think.
I mean,
he got banged up a little bit, but the production certainly.
He played, I think, at least 13, 14 games last year, I think. But I honestly, I struggle with this one. So Saquon, I suppose. I guess I could also say, although it still doesn't really fit either, but Bobby Wagner for Washington hadn't done much in a couple of years. And I'm not saying he's this super player still, but he's done pretty well for them. So I don't know. This one was a tough one. So I don't know. Those would be my two names, I guess.
Gutter?
This one's tough. I agree. I'm gonna go a different route. I'll say Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, because I think how he played last season, not like he was banged up, but the production, it didn't feel like he was the Jalen Hurts we were used to. This year, the numbers aren't there necessarily, but the feel of it. Just watching him, I was like, all right, this is Jalen Hurts. This is really this is what it's supposed to look like. Or at least more of what it's supposed to look like compared to last season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go. There was two options on the Eagles. I'm going to go with Nakobe Dean. He missed a ton of time last year due to injury. Struggled some when he was playing. Had one, I think, really good game, but struggled a lot when he was playing last year. Probably due to the injuries, but it's been solid so far through the first half of the season. Been on the field, a couple of games he didn't wrap up some tackles, but he's played a lot better. He's definitely earned that role.
What was your name? Nakobe Dean?
Nakobe Dean, yes sir.
Yeah.
Especially with the interception, not these two games, but the game before to seal that game. So definitely
when y'all almost choked to the Jaguars. Almost being the key word. Still won.
I'll take it.
Win's a win.
I'll take it.
Wins
Yes,
a win.
sir. All right. Offensive player of the year. Ben, who you got?
Saquon.
Gutter.
Yeah, Saquon. It ain't even that hard, honestly. I was thinking more for another category, but yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson
Ooh, that's a good one.
from the Commanders. I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson there.
Can I ask why?
All right. Sure, Brian Robinson has played really well at the running back position. If not for him blocking as well as playing and his increased play, he almost could have been comeback player of the year, but he did play last year. I feel like he's been, to me, the second best player in the division this year. And the first best player in the division is my MVP. I didn't want to give him 2 awards.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I just wanted to ask. It wasn't a criticism or anything. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah,
that's all.
No, that's fine. All right, so defensive player of the year. Ben, who you got?
Going with the Eagles guy. As much as it pains me to name a bunch of Eagles here, they are 8-2, and 8-2, and I believe he's second in tackles in the entire league. But yeah, he is. Zach Bond.
Gutter, who you got?
Damn, you making me. I would still go with my initial pick, Dexter Lawrence.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Bond too. I didn't think anybody else was gonna pick him. I was like, yeah, I got this one. But yeah, but no, that makes sense. He has been really well. He's been a revelation on the team as far as tackling. He's around all the plays. He's had some fumble recoveries, a pick. He's kind of been a little bit of everything. So definitely at this point,
I have it right here. He's definitely number 2 in the league in tackles, 102 in 10 games, 10 a game, a couple sacks, interception.
100 tackles in 10 games. It's crazy.
100 tackles in 10 games, yeah. 102.
Coach of the year.
Very impressive.
It is. Coach of the year.
Mike McCarthy.
There's really only one guy that we can consider.
It's Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn.
Gutter.
Yeah, Dan Quinn.
Yeah, it's Dan Quinn. It's unanimous. It's Dan Quinn. Most improved player. Ben, who you got?
I really can't say the Cowboys for really anything, but I'm gonna squeeze one in here.
Fair enough.
And honestly, it could be 2, to be honest, even though it could be Ferguson or Tolbert. They both have taken steps up. Tolbert especially, I thought, had a couple of really good games, especially that game-winning catch against the Steelers, which wasn't an easy catch either. It was a tough, contested catch. So I'll go Tolbert because Ferguson was pretty good last year as well. I think his production, he's gotten a little bit better this year, but Tolbert has taken more of a leap. So I'll go with Jalen Tolbert on this one.
Gutter?
Zach Bond. That, you see, that's why I didn't pick him.
That's fair.
But fair. The jump this man has made, I'm like, dear goodness.
Bananas, dude. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. I'll stay on the Eagles. I've actually got 2, Cam Jurgens, and I'm going to go with Grant Calcaterra because we know every year our starting tight end is going to be hurt. This year, it didn't matter that he was hurt. I'm not saying that he's not a better player, but I'm just saying Calcaterra stepped up, made the plays while he was out. So we lost Goddard. Calcaterra stepped in. Goddard comes back. Goddard loses the ball. Calcaterra steps in and hops on that ball. So very impressive what he's been doing this year. I was never concerned with his talent, but the amount of concussions that he had in college was my only worry. And he seems to be kind of past that, and he seems to be doing fine. So as long as that continues, I think it's just a good pickup. My MVP. I think everybody knows who my MVP is, but Ben, who's your MVP?
I'm just because y'all went one way and I went the other, we're going to play that game again, and I'll go with Jaden Daniels.
Okay. Gutter, who you got?
I'm doubling up. Saquon Barkley, Doug.
You know Saquon Barkley is my MVP. That's why he wasn't my offensive player earlier, because he's my MVP.
Exactly. That's
like
why
I would, but I'm like I can't really think of I couldn't think of anyone else I would even pick. But I'm like, listen, I'll give him 2 awards. He's been that good.
Yeah, cool. Just a question: Is Gainwell your number 2?
He is.
Because I was wondering, I didn't know if there was another running back or anything, or if Gainwell was the 2 this year. I'm only asking that because I don't wish injury on anyone ever, to be honest. Even Aaron Rodgers, who I strongly dislike, I wanted him to play last year and fail last year, like he's failing this year. So I don't wish injury on anyone, but we know Saquon's history, which is why I was asking who their number 2 is.
Shipley from Clemson is our number 3.
Okay. Yeah. Now, granted, we all hope, I think we all hope Saquon plays every game.
I definitely hope he does.
Plays the whole season, and but I'm just saying that there's a decent chance he misses sometime. So that's why I was curious if Gainwell was your 2.
I think that's why they've been. If you notice, he's been getting about 20 to 23 carries a game. He hasn't really been getting 25, 30 carries. And I think
they've been limiting him a little bit. Yeah,
just do a little limiting. Let you do your thing when you're there, but once we hit a certain thing, just come over and sit down, and then it helps that we've been doing really well. So there's been games where you can just say, "Hey, game's already out of reach, man. Just go sit down." So,
yeah. And Gainwell's actually played well as of late.
That's crazy. Gainwell is actually gaining well.
Yeah.
He's living up to his name.
The one thing with Gainwell, and I think you would know this more than all of us, cool, but Gainwell just loves to gain and fumble. Like a lot of fumbles in this past. He hasn't
really been doing any. Like, he's been playing solid this year.
This year, but in the past, like fumbles at the wrong time too.
Yeah, apparently he's been in the weight room with Jalen and Saquon and everything. Like, he's really like taking this role seriously. Right? Looks good so far. It looked really good in that last game. They had a couple of big runs for us, though.
For sure. I just remember, years past, the Eagles would always be like, "Why? We were doing well with the other guy, and you gave him the ball, and he fumbled it the first time you gave him the ball."
Yeah, he hasn't been fumbling this year. I give him that. He hasn't been.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, got to give a man credit when there's improvement. When you improve, you get credit.
When he's not playing well, we make sure that we let him know. So when he's playing well, we have to let him know that. We definitely do not have a problem verbalizing how we feel about him when he's playing poorly. So gotta give him some props when he's playing well too.
Yeah. Gainwell is, like you said, gaining well.
We don't. Yeah, we do not discriminate. So, guys, we only got one game left because 2 teams have already played.
The question is how much
on bye.
And the team on the bye has lost the bye. Don't worry, they found a way to lose it.
The only question about Monday night's game is who's going to show up in fantasy football and who's not, and the other question is how many points are the Texans going to win by.
Wow.
And
that is from
there's no
Dallas Cowboys fan, y'all.
And you gotta think that Houston's team and their coach, who's an amazing coach, their team and their coach are gonna be like, no, we're the team in Texas that matters now. We're the team. So they're, in my mind, gonna want to step on their throats as much as possible.
So this is the get right game for the Texans?
Oh, they win them by 20. Easy.
Big game,
Easy. Nico's back. Nico's coming back. They'll have Nico and Tank Dell in the same game for the first time in like 6 weeks.
That's big.
Monday Night Football. Stroud's a baller. Stroud loves the big moments. Played in college with 100,000 fans every single weekend. Big moments are nothing to Stroud. he has been struggling. Team's been struggling. Dallas is, step on their throats. That's what they're going to do.
Okay. And that's just for y'all that may not be aware. I don't know who's not aware, but just in case. Texans against Cowboys Monday night, 8:15 p.m. Been giving us his thoughts. Scrub, I'll let you finish off. I'll just say,
I'll be shocked if they lose by less than 10. Shocked.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans too. I think Dallas will have some team pride though, and they'll look better in this game than they did against us. I think they'll have more time with Rush, and I think he'll look a little bit better because he played fairly decent the last time he stepped in for Dak. It was a bad matchup,
which made it very, very confusing why their game plan was screen pass slant.
I think it was a bad matchup. I think that a lot of internal other things probably happening, but I think we'll see a better version of him this week. I don't know if it'll be a version that'll win against Houston, but I think he'll look better. I think he'll be more comfortable in the role. And every defense is not an Eagles defense. And I'm not trying to say that to be like, bragging because of my team, but that's a really good defense. Vic Fangio has little guys playing the way he wants them to play now. Everybody doesn't have the amount of depth, the pieces, the young dogs that are like ready to step in like Philly does right now. So I think this will be a easier matchup for him. So I think it'll be better, but I still think the Texans will win to the points that are being made. It's the battle for Texas. Is it us? Is it y'all? It's us. We want it. So,
and I do
kick him when they're down. We know you're going to kick him.
Sorry, cool. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I do think if the Texans lose, there's going to be some real concern and real questions if they manage to lose that game. Real concern.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say this is prime trap game.
It is a trap game.
This is prime trap game. Now, I do think the Texans will win, but I get the sense it's going to be one of those they just pull away from. I'm not live watching this team the past few weeks. I've not liked how they played. They should have really ran away that game against Detroit, and they couldn't capitalize off of the 5 Jared Goff picks. Like there's no way you can. I don't want to say there's no way, but you shouldn't have forced all those turnovers and still lose the game. Your field goal kicker missed a kick late that would have got you the lead. Maybe that changed the dynamic of that game. You somehow win that.
They had 23. They had 23
they're
points.
Not. They
had 23 points at halftime. They finished the game with 23 points.
Yeah, that's not good.
In a home game.
And it's kind of what happened against the Jets. They was okay in the first half. Wasn't great, but they were okay. And then the second half they faded. And they have to find a way to get some production in the second half. They got to get Mixon involved and the other running backs. And I think this is one of those situations you got to simplify things. Get the ball out of CJ Stroud's hands. I think he's throwing the ball too much. And that's making him his own worst enemy because he's taking too much home run shots and not just running the offense.
Yeah, it's the first game since I think week 4 that they will have had Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Mixon all playing. So, and Dallas's defense is really bad. Really, really, really bad.
It's really bad, but they can still get some pressure up front. And if Stroud starts falling in love with that home run ball, there will be opportunities to force some turnovers. So, I think, like I said, I think it'll be a 1-score game. I don't love how it's playing, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys won this game. In fact, this is the kind of game I would think the Cowboys would end up winning.
Yeah. I mean, it would be surprising, but not, the end of the, But I will say to my point as far as, and y'all are making awesome points, and I'm glad I came on. It's been a great blast as always. But the Texans do lose. Now, they beat the Colts twice already, so they're in a good position there. But it could be after this week, 6-5 Texans, 5-6 Colts. I'm not saying it's gonna be, but that's what it could be. That's what it could be. 6-5 and 5-6.
You can't be giving away games. You're talking about you're still trying to win the division. While it's unlikely you're going to get higher than the 4 seed, it's not impossible. So if you want any chance of that, these are games you got to win. You got to capitalize against these bad teams.
All right, guys. Well, y'all heard it from my panel of guys for the night. Shout out to BS3 Network, where you can find this wonderful program. Shout out to my man Ben over here, Gutter Trash over here. This man wanted to be called like that.
He put himself as that title. You can't.
I did because this is what bad teams will leave you with.
At least you can get rid of your quarterback and get a new quarterback. We stuck with that.
I understand long suffering being bad. I get it. I understand what that can do to you on a mental level. I get it. So guys, we'll see you next Saturday. Make sure that you are subscribing to the wonderful channels of all your guys that are here, right? Just in case they don't know, Gutter, please let the people know where they can find you.
My channel, Scrub Zero. I'll be live on Sunday for All Day Football. There's some issues last week and I wasn't able to do that, but I'll be live this week. Don't worry. And I'll be back to the Thursday game next Thursday. And
let people know where they can find you. Oh, sorry, my bad. You still going, Scrub?
No, I'm good. Just after Giants.
So my Twitter handle's on there at Ben DTS Podcast, Death, Taxes, and Sports Podcast. Name of my podcast. Find it on YouTube. Death, Taxes, and Sports Podcast. Been a pleasure, guys, and hope to come on again soon.
Absolutely. Y'all know I'll just give you 2 places real quick. There's always more at Eagles Elite Podcast. Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Monday, at Real Play Callers, and Friday at Real Play Callers. Monday is 6:30, Fridays is 7:30. These are, of course, where you get me on YouTube. If you want all the links, go to that link tr.ee. I don't know why it's just not Linktree. I don't know what Linktree is doing, but link tr.ee/Cool McCain will give you all the places you can find me, the links to go to them, and you can go there from those hyperlinks in case you forget something. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to all the channels. We will see you next. Well, they will see you next week, because next week it will be my birthday and my birthday weekend, and I am not going to make it. But
happy early birthday, man! Enjoy it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'll be celebrating his Eagles doing well. He gonna be partying. It's gonna be all good.
And then we're gonna lose. And then if we lose Sunday, it's gonna all be trash.
Hey, cool.
That's what it's like to be a fan.
Off the top of your head, do you know when the Eagles Washington is the rematch? What week?
December 22nd.
Okay, week 15 or so, roughly.
Yep.
Cool.
I don't know exactly when it is. I would be going, but that is actually my daughter's birthday, or I would be actually at the game.
Nice. So, well, happy birthday to her as well.
Yeah.
7 weeks in advance.
A month apart. Gotta love it. All right, good people.
See you guys.